All right, Lakers fans, here's the real talk about Rui Hachimura and what his future could look like in Los Angeles. The big question floating around right now is what the Lakers do with him. Rui is heading into free agency at the end of the season, and there's a lot to unpack. The first thing to consider is how much he wants and whether he's willing to stay at a number that makes sense for the team. Reports have floated around that he might be comfortable at around $17 million a year, which is tough to ignore given the level of performance he's bringing right now. He's not just contributing. He's been playing at an extremely high level, and his shooting has been historically impressive. We're talking about a player who can truly stretch the floor and impact the game on the offensive end in ways very few can, but that's just part of the story. The real challenge isn't Rui's scoring. He's evolved into a highly effective off-ball shooter, someone who knows how to find space, catch, and fire with consistency, and he can put points on the board in ways that can really change a game. The concern comes down to fit and position. Rui is naturally a power forward of 4. He isn't a small forward. Now, sure, you could use him off the bench as a 3 if you needed to shuffle things around, and he can certainly show flashes of versatility, but his true strength is at 4. Defensively, he's shown remarkable improvement in that spot. He has a lower center of gravity, he's strong on his feet, and he's able to hold his ground against bigger opponents. Watching him defend against guys like Nikola Jokic, he plants himself and becomes essentially immovable. That's not something you typically see from a small forward, but as a power forward, it's exactly what you want. Here's where it gets complicated. You have LeBron James, who is also best positioned at the 4 at this stage of his career. LeBron isn't going to be moving to 3. It's not energy efficient, it's not sustainable, and he's the team's cornerstone. So if LeBron is your starting 4, where does Rui fit? He can be that 6th man, he can be that versatile option off the bench, but does that truly maximize his talents? If you look at the numbers and watch the games, it's clear that Rui's natural position is the starting 4. Yet the reality of the Lakers' current roster and LeBron's presence means the team has to make a choice about priorities. The offensive side of things is easy. Rui can score, knock down threes, and space the floor like few others at his position. Most teams don't have a 4 who can deliver what Rui brings to the table offensively, which is why he is so valuable. But the defensive considerations, the athletic demands of covering wings versus bigs, and the overall floor spacing are all part of the equation. Small forwards tend to be quicker, more agile, more suited to running the wings, navigating screens, and handling the perimeter defensively. Rui is athletic, no question, but his skill set, his build, and his natural game make him far better suited to the 4. He's sturdy, strong, and plays with the kind of physicality that works best against other power forwards. That's where his game translates into tangible impact. Now, let's layer in the strategic side of the Lakers' roster management. If LeBron decides he's going to stick around for another couple of years, then the team has to figure out how to maximize both LeBron and Rui within the same framework. You're not trading LeBron for Rui. That's just not happening. But if LeBron walks at the end of the season, suddenly Rui's value as a starting 4 skyrockets. You could build around him as a central piece, especially when you consider complementary players like Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, and the rest of the supporting cast. The idea would be to construct a roster that leverages Rui's skills optimally, whether that's as a starter or a high-level 6th man who can close games and elevate the bench. Speaking of the bench, Rui could absolutely elevate that unit. Last year, the Lakers' bench was among the lowest scoring in the league. Now, imagine a scenario where Rui comes off the bench, plays 25 minutes a night, knocks down shots, stretches defenses, and gives the starters a breather while keeping offensive output high. He could be the engine that allows the team to maintain a high level of play when LeBron, Reeves, and others rest. In games where he's lights out, he could even close with the starters, giving flexibility that's hard to find in the league. The question is whether Rui himself is comfortable with that role, and based on his statements, he seems open as long as the minutes and compensation align. Of course, there's another wrinkle: the team's actual needs. The Lakers, while talented offensively, have clear gaps in defensive athleticism, perimeter defense, and two-way capability. Rui does not solve those needs. He's not a dominant rebounder. He's not an elite perimeter defender. And he's not a quick-twitch, switch-heavy wing capable of guarding multiple positions effectively. That's why the team might look to upgrade in other spots, potentially bringing in players like Andrew Wiggins, Miles Bridges, or Herb Jones, guys who fill gaps that Rui cannot. It's not about who's the better scorer, who has the flashiest numbers, or who looks more impressive on highlight reels. It's about building a roster that functions as a complete unit and maximizes championship potential. When you break it all down, the decision around Rui comes down to context, timing, and team construction. If the Lakers can address their weaknesses while retaining Rui, that's ideal. Keep him, integrate him effectively, and let him continue to excel at 4 or in a 6-man capacity. But if improving the team in critical areas requires moving Rui, that could be a necessary, albeit painful, step. His value is undeniable, but it's also positional and situational. The team has to weigh LeBron's tenure, roster needs, and long-term vision against Rui's individual performance and potential. Even with the complexities, one thing is clear. Rui Hachimura is playing at a high level, and his impact is real. He could be a starting 4, a 6th man, or a high-leverage contributor who changes the way the team operates offensively and defensively. The Lakers front office needs to think carefully about his contract, role, and future within the squad. If they play their cards right, they could have both Rui and other key pieces contributing to a championship-caliber roster. But if the wrong moves are made, they risk either underutilizing a highly skilled player or creating gaps in the lineup that could hurt their chances in the postseason. It's a balancing act, and the decisions made in the coming months will shape the trajectory of the Lakers for years to come. Rui's ability to be versatile, efficient, and consistent gives the Lakers options that few teams have. He could defend 4s effectively, stretch the floor on offense, and adapt to different lineups, depending on matchups. He's already proven he can handle high-pressure situations and contribute significantly. But his future role hinges on the bigger puzzle around LeBron, Reeves, Ayton, and potential acquisitions. Whether the team keeps him as a starter, moves him to a 6th-man role, or trades him to fill a critical roster need, his talent and impact will remain undeniable. Now, when we dive deeper into the Lakers situation with Rui Hachimura, it becomes clear that his role isn't just about scoring points. It's about fit, flexibility, and timing. If the team wants to remain competitive while maximizing LeBron James' effectiveness at the 4, Rui has to adapt, and he's showing that he can. He can slide into a 6th-man role, come off the bench, provide instant offense, and still be the guy you rely on in crunch time. That's the type of player every championship team needs, someone who doesn't necessarily have to start to make a massive impact. The beauty of Rui is that he's both capable of starting at his natural position and thriving in a supporting role, and that kind of versatility is priceless in today's NBA. It's also worth noting that while we often talk about offensive production, the Lakers' bigger challenge lies in defensive consistency and athleticism. Rui, as much as we love him, doesn't fully address those gaps. He's not a lockdown perimeter defender, and he doesn't have the elite lateral quickness that some of the other top wing players bring. That's where the team might be looking at adding players like Miles Bridges, Herb Jones, or even Andrew Wiggins. These are guys who can guard multiple positions, switch seamlessly, and bring the two-way impact that's critical for contending in the playoffs. If the Lakers can pair Rui's shooting and floor spacing with someone who covers the defensive end, they're suddenly much closer to a balanced championship roster. At the same time, there's a delicate balance between team needs and loyalty to players who are contributing at a high level. Rui has proven he can knock down shots, he can stretch defenses, and he can make the right play at the right time. He's also shown flashes of leadership and maturity, which makes the idea of moving him even more complicated. The Lakers need to consider not just what they get from a trade or signing, but what they might lose in team chemistry and continuity. Chemistry can't be underestimated in the playoffs. Having a player who knows the system, knows his teammates, and can execute under pressure is invaluable. Rui fits that description perfectly. Then there's the matter of LeBron's future. His presence changes the calculus entirely. With LeBron anchored at 4, Rue's starting opportunities are limited, but that doesn't diminish his overall importance. In fact, it arguably increases it, because the Lakers need someone who can complement LeBron rather than compete with him. If LeBron decides to retire, leave, or take a lesser role, then Rue becomes a critical building block. He could step into the starting four spot full-time, and the team could construct a roster around him and other complementary pieces. That's why the Lakers' decision-making is so nuanced. They're not just thinking about the next season, they're planning for the next 2, 3, or even 4 years. Another key consideration is how the Lakers perform when their star players are absent. Without LeBron, Reeves, and Austin, they've still managed to put up impressive offensive numbers, showing that the supporting cast can step up. But the bench remains a work in progress. That's where Rue's role could be transformative. By inserting him as a sixth man or swing for who can also guard multiple positions when needed, the Lakers can maintain a high offensive ceiling while shoring up defense. He's capable of taking pressure off the starters, which is critical for a team with championship aspirations. When he's on the floor, the spacing opens up for shooters, slashers, and secondary playmakers. That kind of flexibility is exactly what coaches dream of. There's also the issue of financial commitment. Rue's market value is significant, and the Lakers have to weigh how much they're willing to invest in him versus addressing other needs. $17 million a year might be justified for the skill and versatility he brings, but if the team identifies a gap that needs to be filled by someone who addresses defense, rebounding, or two-way athleticism, they may need to make tough choices. This is the reality of managing a modern NBA roster. It's not just about individual talent. It's about fitting the right pieces together in the right roles. Every dollar counts, every minute counts, and every roster move has ripple effects. The trade-off scenario is particularly tricky. If a player like Andrew Wiggins becomes available and solve a pressing roster need, the Lakers could be forced to consider moving Rue, even though he's playing at a high level. That's the painful part of roster management. You love the player, he's performing, but the team's broader needs might necessitate a difficult decision. Conversely, if they can find a younger, athletic, two-way wing who complements Rue while still keeping him on the roster, that would be the ideal outcome. Then you get the best of both worlds. Rue's scoring and positional versatility, plus a defensive and athletic upgrade on the wing. It all comes down to timing and foresight. The Lakers are in a unique position where they have to balance immediate championship ambitions with long-term roster construction. Rue is an important piece of that puzzle, but he isn't the sole solution. They need to think about how he fits around LeBron, around emerging talents like Austin Reeves and the younger bigs, and around potential acquisitions that address gaps in defense and athleticism. The decision isn't just about keeping a productive player. It's about optimizing a championship-caliber roster, one that can compete at the highest level year after year. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are swirling around Los Angeles as the Lakers reportedly make a bold move in the offseason. JONAS Valanciunas, the towering Lithuanian center known for his dominance in the paint, is said to be heading to Hollywood. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the team hint that talks have been heating up behind closed doors, sending shockwaves through the league. Valanciunas, who has carved out a reputation as a reliable rim protector and a consistent double-double machine, could be exactly what the Lakers need to bolster their interior presence. Fans and analysts alike have begun speculating about what this addition could mean for the Lakers roster. With LeBron James and Anthony Davis commanding attention on the perimeter, Valanciunas' arrival might allow the team to finally create a truly balanced attack, combining elite wing play with a dominant post option. The big man's ability to finish around the basket and stretch defenses with mid-range touch could change the way opposing teams approach Los Angeles. Imagine him rolling to the rim off pick and rolls while Davis operates as a secondary facilitator. Strategists are already salivating at the possibilities. However, not everyone is buying the hype just yet. Some critics point out that Valanciunas has never fully thrived in a playoff-centric environment, questioning whether his style meshes with a team aiming for championship contention. Others, more optimistic, argue that pairing him with two of the game's premier talents could elevate his game to a new level. Either way, the rumor has ignited fervent debate across social media, fan forums, and sports talk shows. Lakers supporters are buzzing with excitement, imagining a front-court nightmare for the rest of the league, while rival fans are cautiously skeptical, warning that a single acquisition rarely guarantees success. As the rumor mill churns, the Lakers front office remains unusually tight-lipped, fueling speculation even further. Could Valanciunas be the missing piece in a roster desperate for size and interior toughness? Or is this simply another tantalizing off-season whisper destined to fizzle? One thing is certain. In Los Angeles, where every move is magnified and every rumor dissected, the potential arrival of Jonas Valanciunas has fans holding their breath and pundits sharpening their pens. The City of Angels might just be on the brink of a bold experiment, and the basketball world is watching closely. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.